Hello and welcome to the card dungeon or something. Working on intros. Anyways, I yesterday completed my first official Altered launch event out in Dallas, Texas at Common Ground Games. We're going to talk about it. I am going to go over the deck I created as we did a sealed format, let you know what I think works, the general concept I was going for, and as well what cards I think are one, not very good in general, maybe, but two, definitely did not work out for me in the deck that I built. I'll also give a quick overview of the event and how it went, and then at the end, we'll go ahead and open some packs. So one of these is from prize support for how I did in the tournament, and then I picked up 4 retail boosters because Common Ground also had those. So we'll open those at the end of the video and see if we can get a god pack. So let's jump into how the event went and my deck, and we'll see what you think. So for the general overview of the event, we had about 16 of us show up and play in a sealed format tournament with Swiss rules. We did a best of 3 with 50 minutes, which I think was a little rough. I think best of 3 is definitely the better way to do matchups, but maybe for this launch event, a best of 1 would have given us a little more time. How the event worked is it was $25 to secure a spot, and we were able to use 3 Kickstarter packs and 4 retail packs to create our deck. We had 30 minutes or so to create a deck off of those packs. Once we created our deck, we got a 3-card booster for participating in the event. Those are the organized play boosters. I did not get any uniques in opening my Kickstarter packs or retail packs, but in the 3-card booster, I actually did get an Aja unique, which was really cool for a 3-card booster to get a unique. So that was awesome. This was the second time I have played in a draft style format of Altered, and I really think it's quickly becoming my favorite way to play any card game, basically. The factions and just how the draft is set up, mixing 3 factions, your hero has to match one of those. It's just a lot of fun, really gets your brain thinking, and there are a lot of really cool interactions. So, how did I do in this little tournament? Well, I went 1, 1, and 1. First game I managed to win. I won the first round, and I think I could have won the second round, but it ended in a draw because we ran out of time. So I had 1 round win there, and so I won the match. The second one, I lost 0-2. And the third match was 1-1 when we ran out of time. So that was a draw. So perfectly balanced 1-1-1 score. I think that put me like directly into the middle. 1 or 2 people did have to leave early, and that probably would have knocked me down further because they were better players than me. I usually play just for fun and to try things out. So let's talk about the deck I built, and just keep that in mind. I like to play for fun. I like to try things out. I think 80% of the concept I went for was cool and it actually did work, but there are a couple things I would change if I tried this again. You can let me know your thoughts as well. Okay, so let's start with taking a look of kind of the mana curve and just a different breakdown of the deck before we dive into some of the interactions. I honestly built basically this whole deck over Fen and Crowbar because I got one of the hollow or foil heroes from my Kickstarter packs, and I really wanted to try them out as I haven't played with them yet. So at noon, you resupply. That was a big factor in kind of what I decided here on the deck. And then during morning, draw only 1 card, then put the top card of your deck in your mana zone instead of a card from your hand. It is a risky play in that regard, but then you get the resupply, so a little balance there, but it is still risky in a lot of ways. So by the deck statistics, total of 31 cards, I probably should have just stuck with the 29 and 1 hero, but I got up to about 26 or so with all of the cards that I specifically picked, and then just found a couple more that I thought might work out and ended at 31 and just kept it. So that's 19 commons, 12 rares, and then 0 uniques, because for my sealed boosters, I did not draw any uniques, so I couldn't use any. As well, this is on the Altered database, which I'll leave a link for down below, and my deck link will be there as well, so you can take a closer look at it. Distribution by type, it's mainly characters, 22 character cards, 3 permanent cards, and 5 spells. The permanents, honestly, I wish I would have drew more permanents, but I didn't really draw enough, especially ones that I thought fit into this. I think there was maybe one that I should have put in that I didn't. I'd have to double check. So really, out of all the cards I drew, the only permanent I could have put in that might have been better than one of the ones I picked was the one right here, which is the Lyra Ouroboros Bastion. If you would roll one or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus one and ignore the roll of your choice. I don't think it would have been a really big benefit based on this deck and what else I had. I wasn't really going for rolling dice, especially Fen and Crowbar not having that as part of their ability. So we ended with Muna, of course. I had to have Muna first and foremost. Lyra or Lyra. And then Bravos. So let's go into each of the cards real quick. Don't want to make this video too long. So in my mind, the basic concept of this deck, like I said, was built around Fen and Crowbar and their ability. So I'm looking at resupply as being one of the big things that I'm going to work with. As well, being Muna and really liking Muna, we're looking at boosts. So Chiron here, up to 2 target characters each gain boost. You'll see that it's a 1/0/0. And then Kitsune, each player draws a card, 0/3/2. So you're seeing some zeros come out as well, which was another little lower priority part of the deck, I guess. Kodama, this one was supposed to help with Anchored, and also it's just a 2/2 with decent stats. It gains sleep when it first comes out, but you still get to put it out from reserve and get those good stats. And it has the quick action, target character with hand cost 3 or less gains Anchored. So there's that. Then there's the Lyra Navigator, which is 0/0/4, the Scald, 3/0/2, and then the Thespian. So all of those previous cards that had zeros, the idea is if you have 3 or more base statistics of 0 among characters you control, I gain 1 boost. I still think this is really a cool concept, and I think all of these cards, for the most part, are decent. But I actually was never able to pull this off in my games, which was very unfortunate, especially because it's only 1 boost. But it's only a 2/2 for a 2/2/2. So I don't think that one's a big loss. Red, awesome card, has seasoned. We're already dealing with boosts, as we know, and it keeps the boosts. You can see where that's going. Tiny Jin, same thing, 0/3/0, but as well, we can create more mana if it is boosted, which we're trying to boost a lot of cards here. Aloe Vera also gives us more resupply. We're having a lot of cards in our reserve with this deck, and it's a great card because the guy is literally just how I feel inside. So Bravos Vanguard, this card was a shining star in the deck. I think that a lot of the commons I had, if I had the rare version on just a few, it would have been just that much better, but I had to work with what we pulled because it's sealed. You may have another target character lose fleeting. So there we go, keeping cards around, anchoring them, making sure they don't have fleeting anymore, things like that. Dracena was another shining star in this deck. When played from anywhere, it gains anchored, and at noon, it gains 2 boosts. This thing got up to, I think, 6 or 7 boosts at some point. Mulan, when played from reserve, I lose fleeting. Then the Inari. Inari is kind of just another character, really, in this deck. Ortis Spy, of course, that's my removal. And then as well, it has the create an Ortis recruit without being Ortis, because it is the Bravos faction shifted card. The Ink Caster, this card is really cool and was a lot of fun. When I go to reserve from the Expedition Zone, you may return another card from your reserve to your hand. So if I had more than just one of these, it would have been even better. So you're putting a lot of cards in reserve, and then you have this card that allows you to pick them back up. So there are cards where that is very beneficial, like the Sandman here. Up to 1 target character gains a sleep. If I was resupplying that into my reserve and then the Ink Caster put it back into my hand, it's great. All right, and then the Gozen, it's just kind of a good stat card. 3/3 for a 2/5/5, and it was really easy to get out. 6 mana is not too much of a problem in this deck. And then the Yongsu, I wish I would have had more plants because this would have been easier to pull off, but it is still a great card either way. And I did manage to do it once or twice with the Dracena and the Aloe Vera. So Flamel, this is another good one. Has pretty decent stats for the cost. You may return a spell from your reserve to your hand. I don't think I had enough spells to make him super useful. As you can see over here, we only had 5 spells, but still a good card in my opinion. The Hatter I could go kind of either way with. Um, Obviously has the ability to get us anchored, and if we resupply it into our reserve, we just discard it to get that anchored. No issue there. So this is one of the first cards I'm gonna say was not really worth it for this deck. I don't think it is a bad card by any means at all, especially because it's a 5/5/5/5/5, and it has tough 1. It just didn't work out for me in this deck at all, and seemed like a little too much mana for what I was doing. Now, if I was able to get it anchored, get some boosts on it, things like that, probably would have been a lot better, but I just did not pull it at the right times, I think. So, this card, I will say, not very good at all. The rare is much better, but I think this is just too high cost. Even though it gains anchored, it's just, you can boost or get other cards out easier that can then get anchored by other means that just don't cost as much. So I do not think Cone Man is a very good card personally, and it was a sore spot in this deck. Spells, I think all of my spells are very good spells and have very good interactions in this deck. Acapella Training, target character gains fleeting, draw a card for 2. That's just amazing. Even if I resupply it, I still just pay 2. It's great. Beauty Sleep, it's just a good card to have. The reserve cost for this deck specifically is kind of a sore spot, but then you have, Flamel to put it back in your hand if you need, which did happen and work out for me. Intimidation, pretty easy removal, except for when I had to play against the Kraken and a Shenlong. And then All In, amazing spell in this deck. I wish I would have had more. So I'm building up my reserve. It's very easy for me to discard a card from my reserve to increase the result by 2. And this is how my Dracenna got big multiple times. Cloth Cocoon. This one is just great removal, and especially when I can give other cards fleeting or I can give them a sleep, I can get rid of that card if I have Cloth Cocoon. So permanents are another spot where I think this card was not worth it. I personally don't know if this card is good, and it's just it costs so much for the amount of use you get out of it. It costs 8 mana from wherever you play it, and the next spell you play is free, but it's just really hard to get out, especially with how fast games go usually. But these two, the Haven Bastion and the Keylon Cylinder, were both great. They're both really low cost, and the Bastion especially, your characters have, when played from reserve, I gain 1 boost. Worked really well in this deck. So there were a couple things I could have tweaked, maybe, but also I'm held back by what I could draw. I think if I put in the Ouroboros Lyra Bastion, it could have went either way. But I really think the Ysmir Bastion here was just not good to have in. I could have just left it out. So that was my quick experience and a breakdown of my deck. Definitely let me know what you think and what I maybe should have looked out for. I'm not sure if I actually pulled a lot of things that would have made this a lot better, especially duplicates of certain cards I would have wanted to have more than just one of, but there were maybe a few key decisions that could have made it just that much better. I think I did pretty decently. A time or two, I'm really bad at forgetting things like the Keylon Cylinder and activating quick actions and using your permanents and things like that, and I probably could have done better just focusing on that and making sure I do everything the deck can do. 1-1-1 is not bad. I tend to play more for fun than winning, so I really liked this concept. It was a lot of fun. Some cool interactions. Now, let's open some packs, but we got to get you a little bit better of a view and light up the dungeon here so you can see really well. All right, so let's obviously start with the one retail booster I haven't opened. See what we got in here. All right, so there's our hero. Helping Hand. Love that. Armored Jammer. Beauty Sleep. Classic. Navigator. Inari. Moonlight Jellyfish. I don't think I've seen that one yet. When I'm sacrificed, if I'm not fleeting, put me in reserve. Interesting. Alright, just a Legion Commander. Aether Shard. At noon, draw a card. For a 5/5 landmark, maybe? Alright, a rare commander. If you control 3 or more characters, I gain 3 boosts. It's pretty good. Pretty decent. Open the gates. We don't play Ortis here, so... Oh, shoot! I can't believe we already pulled a unique. Monolith Archivist. Of course, it's also Ortis, the one we don't want to play. Wonderful. I have Defender. When I leave the Expedition Zone, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, create an Ortis Recruit 1/1/1 soldier token in your hero expedition. Don't like Defender at all personally, but the ability is pretty nice. And a 2/4/2 for 2 and 3 is not bad. So one unique already. Let's keep going. Here is a Kickstarter booster. Oh, got one of the foil heroes off the bat. Love that. Brass bug hub. Always good with the hub. Mulan. Ooh, we got a spindle, which is very good. Muna permanent 3/3, and characters you control have tough too. It's pretty good. I like that. I don't think I have one of those yet, or maybe I do. It's hard to remember. Tanuki, a Dracena, Baba's Isba. I did get one of these in the draft, and I probably should have put this one instead of the 8/8 permanent that I used, the Bastion, but I didn't really think of it during the draft. Paper Herald, Three Little Pigs rare, Son of Yggdrasil rare. Alright, there's that freaking Bastion again. Ooh, and an Anubis. Anubis, very good. Each player sacrifices a character. The rare Anubises are usually a lot better. And another Monolith Archivist, but just the rare one. And a Mana Convergence. I don't have the best setup for filming these card openings currently, but I will work on something so it's a little more pleasant in future videos. Alright, another foil hero, Sierra and Oddball. I think we basically have all of those by now. A Mulan, Three Little Pigs, Bravos Pathfinder. Yeah, the Hydra. Hydras are highly sought after. This one's just a common, though. Another one of those Aether Shards. Thoth. Ooh, Lady of the Lake. I think that's my first Lady of the Lake. Pretty decent. The common is not amazing, I would say. Ogun. The rare one, that's pretty good. And Spindle Harvester's rare. I love these little guys. Ooh, and Gift of Self rare. I don't think I've seen this one either. Fleeting, sacrifice a character. If you do, draw 3 cards for 3 mana. Hell yeah. Oh, what's peeking out behind here? Oh, another unique. We're getting more uniques now than we got during the whole draft. And a common foiler. So this is the Scald. You may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, target character gains 1 boost. This would have been really good to have in my deck. Kind of wonky stats here, but I mean, it would have worked really well instead of a common one or something else I had in there. Are we going to happen upon a God Pack, though? No one during the draft did, so I think based on that, the chances are much higher, right? Let's see what we got. I'm gonna say that's a no already. Intimidation, Three Little Pigs again, Nurture, Acapella Training, just the common, Inari, Open the Gates, ooh, Magical Training, only 1 from hand for draw a card. I could dig that. Haven Bouncer, rare. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that card. You got the 3/3 for 2s across the board. From your hand, it has Sabotage, and from reserve, it gains 2 boosts. I like that. Alice, rare. That one's pretty good. Don't care really about the After You for discarding it, though. I do love the rare Kitsunes and a Baku. I don't think we have one yet. Target opponent discards a card from their hand. I mean, it's okay, but they get to choose what card, and it's 4 mana from hand. But I'd say the reserve being 2 makes it a lot better. All right, Haven Trainee, rare, and a Brass Bug. All right, here is our last chance at a God Pack right here. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. My luck is just not always the best. Physical Training, Foundry Armorer, Bravos Pathfinder, Ride the Bifrost. I don't think I've seen that one yet. That's pretty cool. 2 mana, all characters you control switch expeditions. Huh. I mean, it's interesting. I could see some benefits, yeah. A Bountiful Meadow. The next plant you play this turn costs 1 less. Could use that. A Loki. Ozma. The Alchemist. Sticky Note Seals. I don't think I've seen this one either. Send to reserve target character with hand cost 4 or more. Discard target permanent with hand cost 4 or more for only 3 mana. Ah, that's pretty good. Too bad it's Ordis. Atlas, rare, gigantic and seasoned. Yep, that's pretty good. And it gives 2 boosts if you discard it from reserve. Anansi. I gain 1 boost for each card in each player's reserve. Oh, that would have been so good in my deck too. Why couldn't I have gotten that one? Would have been so good. So many boosts. Alright, the Dissenter. When played from anywhere, sacrifice a character. But it is a 5/5/5. I don't really like sacrificing characters, especially because that's taking them out of the expedition. But tokens are characters, so that's where this card would be really good. And a common foiler. Well, that is all of the packs that we got from the event and ones I purchased afterwards. All right, so that was my experience with the first official Altered event, what deck I made, and then some packs I picked up at the end as a little bonus. Let me know what you thought of the deck, any suggestions, thoughts, whatever. Put them down below, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe so I can keep making more.